This is Doug Green, and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News, and I'm very pleased to have with us today Thomas Gardner of Ultratest. Tom, thank you for joining me today.
No, thank you for having me.
So, this is, I think, our first introductory podcast of your company. It's apparently an ITAD company, member of the ASCDI. So I'm really excited that we're able to get our readers to know you better. So I'm going to start off by saying, what is Ultratest?
So Ultratest Solutions is a company that we have over in the UK. We're based in Stevenage, and predominantly we have two separate offerings that we offer out to our customer and client base. The first solution we have we call Genesis. And Genesis is a combination of hardware and software solution, predominantly aimed at the erasure, test, and repair of hard drives and SSDs. So, in a nutshell, we're providing a solution to ITADs, 3PLs, reverse logistics companies. So that will be any kind of office moves outs or any kind of companies that are willing to get rid of their infrastructure to replace. We'll take all of that second-hand equipment. We'll run the hard drives through the Genesis machine on a full repair schedule. And what we're saying is that we can take hard drives with bad defects and various sectors on the block itself. We can repair those elements on the drive. So it's not a physical repair. So we're able to repair the aspects within the hard drive. And our aim is to get it back to grade A 100% health. And that's as it left the manufacturer OEM at its original point of sale.
And that's Genesis.
That's Genesis in a nutshell. So what we try to do is we try to take all of the defective drives, so grade Bs and grade Cs, that what we're finding in our industry is that a lot of them are just being shredded, for example. So there'll be a lot of communication and some marketing within our social channels that a lorry will turn up to a site, they'll shred all of the drives down to 2 mil, 3 mil, 4 mil, whatever the requirement is, and then they'll end up in landfill. So we're trying to kind of go the other way, educate our customer base to say there's another way to process this. The erasure piece that we have on the Genesis is certified to the highest level. So we've got the ASCDI accreditations for the product assurance. So from my side, it's exactly the same as shredding it. The end goal is that you've got a device with zero data on it. The benefit that we have is that you can reuse that a hard drive once it's grade A 100% back into your environment. So there's a big sustainability piece, and there's a lot coming from various different governments and legislations to say that they want 40% of large business and corporate entertainments to have 40% of their infrastructure to be refurbished or second hand. So it lends itself to that aspect there. But on the flip side as well, you've obviously got the revenue stream. So you can rent the machine on a short-term contract, long-term contract, depending on the customer's preference, take all of the drives, run them through our solution. If they were to buy a second-hand drive for $20, for example, and you run it through our machine and you get the grade A 100% health, put that back onto the refurbished market, that drive's now worth $40, $50. So it's, again, another education piece that great news that we've saved a drive from being that didn't need to be destroyed. And then there's obviously an additional revenue stream for the ITADs and 3PLs of the world to go out and make some more money in the challenging times.
What is Nemesis?
Nemesis is it's a fairly similar solution. It's another offering that we have, again, hardware and software, but it's aimed at networking equipment. So that is routers, switches, firewalls, access points, everything that you kind of see coming out of usual like MSP and data center environments. But what we've been able to highlight that at the moment, particularly in the US, actually, the governing body over there, R2V3, there hasn't been any kind of high level policing of what happens to that networking device. If I take a router, for example, a router will come out of a bank, it will go to an ITAD, they'll process it, and then they'll sell it. But we are able to look into that a little bit deeper and find that the router is being sold to the end user with data still on there. And obviously, if we're talking about a bank, for example, that could be highly critical and sensitive information. So that gave us the niche opportunity to create Nemesis, and that's how it was born. So Nemesis is aimed at true data erasure on networking devices, and in some aspects we are able to repair the overall health of the router. So we have an option on the Nemesis which is all fully automated within the cloud. We can ignore the OS that's actually on the device and we'll process the full data erasure. And if you have access to the operating system, just going to use a Cisco switch like a 2901K9, for example, we can ignore the OS that's on there. And once we've done the full data erasure piece, we'll upload the very latest OS onto that router. So if it had an older version previously, we'll put the latest one on there. So it's effectively kind of repairing that. And it's quite nice if you get 1,000 routers from all different places that you can upload the same OS onto it, so that when you come to set it on at a later date, they're all at the same OS level and firmware updates as well.
Sounds like it's a pretty good opportunity for partners.
Definitely, we are looking for partners in Northern America and Australia, trying to get the offering into those predominant areas. So for us, it's again just that education piece of the solution that we have that's available. The Nemesis solution is accredited to the ADISA requirements as well. So I think using R233 as an example, the legislation has changed now as of June this year, I believe. June last year, sorry. We just moved into a new year. And that's going to make it harder for ITAD. So when it comes to audits, they're going to be challenged on how they've erased a switch. And at the moment, if you have an engineer to manually reconfigure a switch, I think it's 52 commands. And if you miss one of those commands in the process, or you don't hit the relevant button or the correct typo at the time that it needs to, you'll brick the device, so then it becomes useless. So Nemesis will completely automate that process for you. And we've designed it as well to completely de-skill that kind of clever aspect. So anybody could use it. I've used it myself, so I'm a true advocate that literally anyone can use that in process networking kit.
Well, Tom, I really want to thank you for joining me today. This has been a great, fast introduction to Ultratest. Where can we learn more?
So you go to our website, www.ultratestsolutions.com. That's got more offerings about the Genesis solution, the Nemesis. And then if you want to know more as well, please feel free to reach out to myself, and I'd be happy to set up a discovery call and showcase how that we can help anyone in the space that they're working.
Well, thank you for joining me again, and I'm looking forward to our next podcast.
No, appreciate your time. Thank you, Doug.